Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Erica. I'm the author of the blog, The Simple Home Place, and today I wanted to share this glass lamp makeover. I picked up this lamp from my favorite thrift store for about $7, as you can see, and although it was a little bit outdated, I thought it was really pretty, and I thought it would be a good starter lamp project for me, as I've never touched a lamp, done anything with a lamp. And then I found actually a pair of these lampshades at Goodwill for $2.99 a piece, and I thought that the shape would go really well with the style of lamp. And so I'm going to make over both of them. And full disclaimer, this is not really a tutorial. This is more of me showing you how I figured out how to do all of this. It is not perfect. There are definitely a lot of things that I figured out along the way. And so in the future, I will be making over another lamp. I'm going to rewire a lamp. Actually, I have one that I found, and I will show you how to do that because it's actually really simple. But it took me going through the process and figuring it out and testing it on this lamp to now know how to do it. So look out for that in the future. But this is basically me fumbling around trying to figure out how to disassemble this lamp. And the reason that I'm doing that is because I wanted to spray paint it. I thought it would be a really simple thing. But what I wanted to do was the very base. And then there's a rod that goes through the center of the glass. And obviously because it's glass, you can see it. And so I wanted that rod that goes through the middle and the base to match. And so in order to achieve that, I had to disassemble this lamp. And so again, this is me fumbling around trying to figure it out. But basically, you unscrew this bottom part, you take apart the very top where the light bulb sits in, you would expose the wires, which you'll see, and then you can take those glass pieces off. And I had no idea that there were actually 3 pieces to this, so that was kind of cool to figure out. Then it was on to painting, and I'm just using this antique copper spray paint by Behr. I've used this in projects in the past. In fact, I used it on my desk makeover, which I will link above if you want to check that out. But pretty straightforward. I did this in all of the little pieces and accessories that go with it. So where the light bulb sits in and the part where the lampshade goes on. I also spray painted the top of my lampshade, so that would be exposed and you could see that and it would all match. This isn't exactly the color that I was going for, but it works and it's okay, and it does look better. I think I would have rather had a true copper color, but it is what it is. It looks nice. You can see I am sanding in between the coats. This is just 400 grit sandpaper. There was one little spot that bubbled up, so that's optional, but that's just what I did. And then I actually sealed it with a matte sealer, and that changed the color a little bit, and I liked it a little bit more after I did that. I would recommend that for most pieces that you're doing, to seal it up after you're done. It'll just help the paint stay longer and it will give it a nice finish. And so here it is, and now I'm reassembling it. That part was really pretty easy. I kept all the pieces in a baggie so that I didn't lose them. And yeah, I don't think I need to explain this. You could just watch it unfold. And then the next step was working on the lampshade, which is a whole different story. Okay, moving on to this lampshade. Now again, I have never touched a lamp or a lampshade, so this is all new territory for me. I did watch a few videos, and I don't know if I already said this, but I don't like following directions. I am just really bad at that. So I watched a few videos and then figured I'm just gonna do it how I think it makes sense in my head. And so that's what I'm doing. So I bought this muslin fabric from Joann's. I was going to go with linen, but muslin has a similar feel and it was a lot cheaper. So that's what I'm going to go with. And right now I'm just cutting some 1-inch or 2-inch strips And these are basically going to be anchor points for the panels of the lampshade. And so what you do is you wrap this fabric around the very top and the very bottom, and you'll see why in a little bit why I'm doing this, and it'll make sense. But that's what I'm going to do now, and then we're going to work on the panels for the inside and the outside. Now let's work on the panels for our lampshade. And so for this particular lamp, you can see there are 6 individual sections, and we need to cut panels for the inside and the outside of each section, so 12 in total. What I'm doing here is I'm tracing all around the outside of those wires to get a template. What you need to do is on the outsides, you're going to trace exactly around the outsides. On the very ends, you want to add a couple of inches because this is going to allow you to fold it over and create a really nice and taut lampshade. And so I did this after the fact, but you can see I'm tracing. You want to make sure that you add a couple inches on either side, and you can always trim away. But I created my template. Now I'm just making it a little darker. And I went ahead and I cut 12 panels. And then we're going to put those onto the lampshade. And with that fabric that we put on the top and the bottom, this is how we're going to secure these panels to the lampshade itself, or the lamp frame. So here's where I went wrong, and the lampshade still turned out okay, and most people probably wouldn't even notice that there was an issue. But I chose to take individual panels, place them on the inside, pin them on the top and the bottom, and then hot glue them individually. To me, this made sense. In hindsight, now I understand why the tutorial said to do the outside, then the inside. And really, you're supposed to sew all 6 panels for the inside and all 6 panels for the outside together so that you basically have 2 covers. But I don't follow the rules, and sometimes it bites me. And in this case, it kind of did, but it's okay, it's just a lampshade. But you can see I'm hot gluing all of them, and the inside looks really undone. And you can see all of the seams, and it just doesn't look great. Now, people aren't going to be looking on the inside of my lampshade, but I know it's there. So in the future, I'll probably redo this if I'm going to be honest. But for now, it's fine. So you can see that I have the entire inside done, and I'm just trimming those seams, trimming off little pieces to make it look nice. And now I'm going to go to the outside. So for this, I did sew all 6 panels together, and it was a really easy, simple process. I was a little intimidated, but honestly, it was really simple. And so I just made sure that I sewed really close to the edge, and I did end up trimming some of the seams just to make sure that it fit really nicely. And in between sewing, I made sure that the seams lined up with all of those up and down pieces. Why can't I think of that? But the parts of the frame, so that it would fit really nicely. So I just made a cover, and that's going to be slipped onto the outside of the frame, and then I'll secure it after that. So you can see that I'm pinning just like I did for the inside. I'm pinning along the top, and then I'll make sure that I'm pulling everything taut on the top and the bottom. And I'm just using some hot glue again. I think that's the easiest, and I think it'll hold pretty well given that there's lots of different parts that I've glued. So overall, I think it'll be okay. You can hand sew to the frame if you really want to. I just chose not to. I think I did actually in one little section, and it honestly was too time consuming, and the hot glue is going to suffice. But overall, I think it turned out okay. Now to finish it off, I decided to create a little trim, especially for the bottom, because as I was sitting next to the lamp, I could see all of the unfinished edging, and it was really bothering me. And while this isn't perfect, and I probably could have bought some trim, which I think is probably recommended, I just made some almost like bias tape and glued it on there, and it looks better. It's not perfect, and it's still bugging me. Again, it's just a lamp and nobody else cares. It's not like I have people at my house all the time. It is what it is. But it made me feel better, and so that's how I finished off the lamp. You could do it on the top too if you wanted to. But yeah, so let's look at the final result. Here it is, the final result. I feel like it took a lot to get to this place, even though it was a pretty simple thing to do. But I hope you enjoyed following along. Hopefully you learned something new. I know I sure did. If you like videos like this, make sure that you subscribe to my channel. I have a whole host of different home decor, furniture flips, all of those things. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day.